Hi, this is Dr. Renee of Pleasant Leadership Consulting, where we inspire your leadership freedom. So welcome back to our YouTube channel called Leadership University, and I have a new series dropping today, and it's called Leader Accountability. So you don't want to miss this one, so if you haven't done so, hit the subscribe button right now. In fact, this 4-week series is so amazing, you might want to go ahead and invite someone to follow along with us. All right, so I'm going to share my screen, and you know this always takes me a minute because my mouse is so sensitive. All right, so let me go ahead and hit share. All right, so this series, it's 4 weeks, as I said. It's quick, it's dirty, it's awesome, but I'm going to tell you, I'm going to be real on this one. So if you are easily offended, this is definitely not a fluff piece. You might, if you get easily offended, you might want to skip the series, and we'll meet you back here in 4 weeks. All right, so leader accountability. We all want it, but it's really a hard one to enforce as a leader. Let's go ahead and get started. All right, if you're not, I got to get used to the sensitivity of my mouth. Okay, if you're not following us on social media, please do so. I highly encourage you to do so. My most popular following is on Facebook, and you can find us at Pleasant Leadership Consulting. Then you can also follow us on Instagram at Pleasant_leadership. And then I love for you to follow us on Twitter. You can locate us at PleasantLeader1. All right. So our workshop objectives in this 4-week series are quite simple. It's 4 weeks, and I've got it broken down into 4 objectives. Week number 1, which starts today, we're going to talk about some accountability statistics sharing. Now, guys, this one is going to hit hard. I'm going to share some statistics that are specific from the standpoint of a leader, and then some statistics from the standpoint of a follower, and I'm not going to hold back any punches. All right, I'm just going to tell you like it is, and it's just going to be hardcore leadership. All right, week number 2, we're going to talk about what is accountability? What is it? And we're going to define it, and we're going to delve a little deeper. Week number 3 in the series is where does accountability begin? And then we're going to wrap up this series with week number 4 on accept responsibility for our actions. This is what we all think about accountability, and this is what we want, so we're going to save the best for last. I hope you're here for all 4 weeks, but if you can't, just come in whenever you can, and we have these on our saved videos, so if you miss a week, you can come back and watch them. All right, objective number 1, accountability statistics sharing. Before we begin, has anybody ever felt like somebody has let you down? Maybe they didn't hold their end of the bargain, whether it's a personal relationship, a professional relationship. At some point, chances are you haven't gone so many years around the sun and achieved the age that you have without some sense of disappointment. And if you have, you probably just aren't living, or you're very young. Accountability is something that as humans, we just try to instinctively, we resist it. We just don't want to take responsibility. We don't want to be held accountable for our actions. Therefore, it's one of the hardest things that we do as leaders is to hold other people accountable for their actions. So that's why this whole segment of these 4 sessions is one of the hardest ones, and it's why it's no fluff. And that's why I'm not going to hold back on it. You have to be consistent. You have to sometimes be hardcore as a leader to hold other people accountable, because if you don't, your organization pays the price. All right, so let's delve in. Accountability statistics, and guys, these are frightening. They are. They will wake you up as a leader, and if not, we need to talk. All right, statistic number 1, 25% of leaders surveyed feel that 10 to 20% of their followers avoid accountability. Now, I gotta tell you, in my opinion, I think that's a little low. When I talk to my my leaders that I work with, and well, in my personal experience, I think that number can be high. Now, I'm not talking exorbitantly high, but I think it's just a little bit higher, that there are some people out there that just flat out deny responsibility. They don't want to take ownership of their actions. They avoid responsibility. And I see it even more post-COVID. It's true. It really is true. And this is why leadership can be so hard. This is one of the key differences between being a manager and being a leader. So we have to nip this in the bud, because this kills culture, this kills the climate, this kills your productivity, this is dangerous to your organization. This has got to go. All right, second statistic, 15% of leaders have successfully defined and broadly communicated their key results. Successfully is your key term here. Now, that doesn't mean that more haven't communicated it. The key here is successfully defined and broadly communicated their key results. So the key to being accountable and holding people accountable is telling the right person what is expected, what to do, what is expected, when it's due, and to monitor them, to hold them accountable. Sometimes a leader just kind of word vomits and expects people to know what they're thinking and how they want the job to be done and when they expect to be done. That is not getting a job done and holding somebody accountable for it. You cannot assume that someone is going to do the job until you tell them how to do the job, give them skills to do it, and notify them when you want the job done. You've got to hold them accountable by telling them. And here's the last statistic on this screen. 47% of followers, now I know I'm on the leader screen, but hold on with me. 47% of followers received feedback from their leaders a few times or less in the past year. Can I just tell you how much this makes my heart hurt? Leaders, your followers, no wonder they're not accountable. If you are giving them feedback a few times or less than half of the followers are giving if you're giving your followers, half of your followers, a few times or less feedback a year, no wonder they're not accountable. They don't know what they don't know. So no wonder you have, So because of this statistic, I wrote book number 2 in the Lead Well series called Flourishing with Feedback. If you were one of the leaders that was in the 53%, you didn't know what you didn't know, please go to pleasantleadership.com/merchandise. Click on the link for the ebook or the paperback and purchase Flourishing with Feedback, so you know how to communicate with your followers so that they can be held accountable. That's your step before you watch week number 2. Okay? That will solve 50% of your at least 50% of your accountability problem in your work environment, is to give them the proper feedback in their work environment. I promise you. I promise you. Okay, let's look at the follower side. All right, 26% of followers strongly agree that feedback received that should be help them to do their work better. Again, flourishing with feedback. If they know better, they can do better. They can't be held accountable for things they don't know. So they don't have the knowledge, they don't have the skills, they don't have the understanding of the expectation. So if they don't have the knowledge, the skills, the expectation, the time, they don't know what they're being held accountable for. So communicate those things. Once they know this, they have the knowledge, they have the skill. Okay, you've communicated the expectation, you've communicated the timeline, you've communicated or opened up a communication flow, a communication channel. All that accountability is now in place. You've got a system in place. Your accountability is going to go up. They can't hide. They can't disappear. Flourishing with feedback. I promise you, it'll help you. All right, here's another one. 84% of followers say the way leaders behave is the single most important factor influencing accountability in the organization. So let's deconstruct that statistic. This says that followers are watching their leaders more than they are listening to their leaders. So if they see a leader who is not walking the same path that they are talking, that there is a disconnect between the walk and the talk, that the leader is not accountable for in their actions to match the words, the followers are not going to be accountable in the same actions that they are speaking. So follower does what leader does. So I ask you, leaders, if you are currently experiencing an accountability issue in your work environment, what you need to do right now is you need to stop and you need to look at yourself. Are your words matching your actions? And if not, you need to look at yourself first, because your followers are. And they are doing what you are doing. Because if it's good enough for you, it's good enough for them. It's not pleasant news, I'm sorry, but leadership is not for the weak. All right, if I haven't offended you, if I haven't scared you off, and you've enjoyed this first segment, if you've been tough enough and your skin is thick enough, I invite you to come back for session 2, 3, and 4 in this series. I thank you so much for joining us today, and I invite you to visit our website at pleasantleadership.com, call or text us at 904-458-7317, and join us next week. There will be more.